things.
Challenge everything.
The year is 2003 and racing games are about to undergo a massive change. What is up, everybody? I am Mega Shortfuse and welcome to another edition of my own personal history with the Need for Speed series. And we have hit the big leagues, people. This is Underground, the game that many people idolize and hail as one of the best Need for Speeds, hell, one of the best racing games ever created. This was spawned by the at the time popular trend of street racing, illegal street racing, yada yada yada, you know the gist, which was, I think, brought to the attention of the masses by the Fast and the Furious. And while I like those movies, I want to say the following. I enjoyed this game. I think this game is good, awesome even, but I am not pushing and I do not care if a Need for Speed Underground 3 is made. Why? This trend or fad or whatever you want to call it is effectively dead. Even the Fast and the Furious, which created the thing in the first place, has moved on to bigger and better things like normal cars with I don't know, more stylized action sequences. And well, yeah, the times have changed and this has changed with them. But enough about the games that are next in line. Let's talk about this. In particular, the game modes and what have you. This is Sprint. This is my favorite game mode in this game. Why? Well, Circuit, I think, is too long and too repetitive. True, you race around interesting and unique locations, fair enough. But, you do so for 3 to 5 laps, especially in the campaign, which for some reason tasks you with huge races on the same track. And I like Sprint for that fact alone, because it's just one lap, A to B. You don't have much room for error because you can't fuck up, because you can't, you know, fix your mistake on the following lap. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, again, not much to say about Sprint other than I think it's great. Favorite game mode. Actually across all Need for Speeds. Can't think of something that immediately off the top of my head which is better than Sprint. Now let's move on to the thing that's dragged people over to this game. Car customization. This had a roster of primarily cars that were big in the import scene. My favorite was, if my sweet ass from the past can get to it, the Honda S2000. I don't really have a clue why I like this car. Maybe it's because it was the most badass thing about the original Fast and the Furious. Maybe, apart from the Charger. But it's small, it's compact, it's very cool, like me. And I should note that this has a graphics mod on it, because when I got to this part I noticed that the wheels were rectangles and not wheels. I got really mad, and so now you have better graphics. But yeah, this drove the masses to this game. We haven't really seen anything, or rather hadn't seen anything like this before Need for Speed Underground came out. True, there were attempts. Gran Turismo had very deep customization, but that was only for the insides of the car, and this was aesthetics. This was visually enhancing your car. And even for like the 3 minutes it took me to make this, you saw sped up. But I think this looks pretty cool for like 3 minutes of effort. And the game modes. The game modes are Circuit Sprint, Drag Drift, Lap Knockout, which I hate, and Free Run, which I haven't tried. The first the second we're gonna look at is Drift. Drifting has a weird relationship with me. Let me explain. To this day, my version of Need for Speed Underground does not allow me to change the controls. And I am stuck with the arrow keys for movement, right shift for braking, hand braking, and what is it now? Insert and delete, respectively, for shifting up and down. The latter really hurts my drag racing, which I will get to in a moment, but drifting is alright. I have forgotten how I used to play this, as evidenced by my suckiness. I don't really know why it's semi-works now. The other attempts I did when I recorded footage for this, I failed miserably because it wouldn't chain drift. But yeah, still, drifting had its high moments like this. This track is effectively a square, and it's probably the most iconic square in gaming history. Many of you, and I'm sure, well, that includes me, have spent hours on this track. We didn't even know what we were doing back then, some of us. With a Dodge Neon, which is one of the worst cars in existence, just doing laps of this puny square. Admitted I did choose a very ugly car for this, not bad, just ugly, to demonstrate my point, but it's still an awesome track. It's still iconic, and it's still childhood defining. I like this track. Don't really like drifting, but my god, do I love this track. Simplicity is best. Or better in some cases. And now, oh Jesus, Mary and Joseph, frickin' drag racing. Okay, what is my problem with drag racing? My problem is that in most Need for Speed games, this has basically boiled down to memory. You memorize where the traffic's gonna be, and then you react accordingly before that, because you cannot react the way this game wants you to react. How does Need for Speed Underground want you to play drag racing? It wants you to react on a dime. The problem is, the physics engine is the same as in the rest of the game. Case in point, I hit a car, and we see a bit of, just breakdancing. Drop a fat beat. I can't. I cannot drop a fat beat, but, a car shouldn't fucking behave like that. I'm losing my cool. I hate drag racing. I really despise it. I know I'm repeating myself, but repeating. See? It's butchering my vocabulary. I hate it so much. I didn't even say vocabulary right. But yeah, the way this game works is that, like I said, the physics engine is the same. So when you turn, you just tap the button. It switches lanes, but when it switches lanes, it does this sort of wobble, which is because it takes place in the same freaking game as the rest of the game modes or whatever. And that's why it doesn't work. You can't react fast enough, because even if you do, it gets too wobbly. Another fundamental problem with this is that you can't go too fast because your car is gonna blow up. I don't know why they put overheating in it, but if by some miracle you are leading the pack after hours of fucking trying, you still blow up your engine. So, it's unenjoyable. Purely because it goes against this game's logic. But this is one of the greatest racing games ever made, I think. It brought customization out to the public. It popularized it. It is one of the best-selling games of all time. Not Need for Speed titles, games. 15 million copies across all platforms. The soundtrack actually formed most of my music taste. Like, for example, T.I. is the most notable thing I took away from this game. Atlanta-based rapper T.I., who is probably smoking the weeds right now. So, hi, no pun intended. But yeah, sorry about that. Next time, we will go in deeper underground. As my throat aids takes over my body, I will leave you with the peculiar way this game's physics engine handles crashes. Thank you for watching, and I will see you deeper.